For as long as we can remember, certain jobs, activities, and behaviors have been associated with men while others for women. And although we have come a long way from what gender stereotypes were in the 1950s, our children are still bombarded with these messages on a constant basis. From the teenage boy who's ashamed of showing emotion to the young girl who's too embarrassed to try out for the baseball team, gender stereotypes can certainly be confusing and even damaging for children. So the question is, how do you avoid it? Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine editor Angela Ardolino is here now with some advice. Always good to see you, Angela.
You too.
You say parents need to be aware of the subtle signs of gender stereotypes both at home and at school. So first of all, what are we looking at home? What are we talking about? What are these subtle signs at home?
At home, I think the biggest influencer is the television or the internet, depending on how old they are. But you know, studies say that up to the age of 2, don't even let them watch television. That's how powerful the messages are to little kids about what a man should be and what a woman should be, because they don't understand commercials. They don't understand. They're just taking in that message and learning that. So the television is probably the most important part. So after 2 years old, if you want, of course, them to watch television or watch shows, really pay attention to what they're watching. Make sure that the show is giving a good message and that it's not making them think one way or they should be one way or another. And then as they get older, talk to them about what you see. If you see a commercial on television, I know all the time I get so angry at the commercials that show the kids who can't feed themselves and the mom has to come tell them what to eat, and, you know, things like that. Talk to them. I mean, I know I say to my daughters, really? That teenage boy can't figure out how to make himself something. You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation showing how ridiculous that commercial is, showing that mom's the only one who knows how to cook dinner type of thing. So it's important as they get older to discuss it with them.
Okay, now we can control that at home, but we can't always control what happens at school. So how do we deal with the signs at school, and what are those signs?
At school, if you're raising a child who's open to anything and willing to try anything, they may stand out a little bit at school because they're not like everyone else. So make sure that they understand that being different, being eccentric, being different than everyone else is a good thing and not a bad thing. If they want to stand out in life. You want to be different. You want people to notice you for the good things, not for the things that they're supposed to. It's also important for them to they'll be able to recognize other kids in school who maybe are being bullied because they are being themselves instead of maybe doing what they're supposed to. So it's just if you're teaching at home, it'll help them at school also.
Now, a lot of parents may be thinking, I've got a lot of other problems to worry about. This is the last thing on my plate. But you say it needs to be a priority. Why is it so important for us to care about avoiding gender stereotypes?
It is another thing that we have to worry about as parents, but why it's so important is that it's basically a child should come into this world thinking that they can believe that they can be anything and do anything. And the moment that you start teaching them without even knowing that that's what they're learning, that only boys can do certain things and girls can do certain things, you're actually hurting their self-confidence, their self-esteem. They don't feel like they belong. If they want to play baseball, but they're being told that's a boys' sport, imagine what that does to a child. Well, that's what I want to do, so is there something wrong with me? Am I weird? Am I different? So it's really important if you just let your child choose their toys. Encourage good choice that help them learn things. You know, we talked about the girls not playing with Legos versus boys playing with Legos. Where scientific research has shown boys are better in math purely because of the toys they're given when they're children. When they're building things and creating things, and the girls are doing more, you know, girls are better in language and verbal skills. Absolutely. Because they're pretending and speaking. So those types of things that really start early. Let them be who they want to be, and they'll grow up to be self-confident, independent, and happy kids.
Fantastic advice. Always good to see you, Angela. She'll be back next week, and we'll talk about teens and driving. If you missed any of those points, or you want to share Angela's information with another parent, just go to abcactionnews.com. You can also find help with a variety of parenting issues on the Tampa Bay Parenting website, tvparenting.com. And while you're there, sign up for a subscription to Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine. Stay with us. We'll be right back.